Sheriff's Office.
Hi, ma'am. This is Scott Sunford. Today at 324, 327, and 328, I had 3 census trips, and I've been out of town with family for a funeral. My wife was home.
Okay.
I just got home, and the board that I have over my back door has been broken. So somebody has forced their way in, and I haven't heard back from my wife. I need an officer here now.
Okay. And what's your wife's name?
Desiree Sunford.
44. Someone arriving on my call. Can you wait?
When I rolled up to the residence, I saw somebody had their spotlight on the house, and he had a pistol drawn. That person was later identified as Scott Sunford. And I asked him what was going on. Why didn't you go in? He said, I don't know what's in there. Which is a very odd answer to give. I entered the house, and I remember walking down the hallway, and the first room to my left, and there were bullet casings on the floor. To the left, I could see the body of Desiree Sunford. Whoever shot her wanted her dead. At that point, when I had exited the house and walked over to Mr. Sunford and told him that there was a deceased woman in the house. We believe it's your wife. I remember telling him, I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry. He had a stone cold look on his face. It seemed like it meant nothing to him. And I told this to the detectives when they arrived on scene. I think this guy knows something about this. Either he did it, or he knew who did.
He was a 31-year-old veteran in the National Guard. He actually worked at the local training center for the military base here in Yakima County. Scott informed us that he had gone down to the Tri-Cities, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Yakima, to attend a funeral. And he attended the funeral Saturday afternoon, and then he had called Desiree, said he was going to spend the night down there.
You mentioned that you got a bunch of alarm hits on through your phone at like 3 in the morning.
He received texts from the alarm company saying something had gone wrong or something tripped the alarm.
Okay, and so why not go in the house and check things out and make sure she's okay?
Because I was afraid.
What were you afraid of?
When I saw that back door, I just couldn't decide whether I could deal with what I may or may not see.
It didn't make sense that a husband would stand back and not go into the house to see if his wife's hurt or injured.
You said you were in the military?
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years? Did you get deployed in combat areas?
Yeah, we had a couple deployments.
Where at?
Iraq.
Iraq. Well, I'm just thinking, you're a big guy. You're what, 6'4"?
Somewhere up there.
6'4", 250. You've got a firearm on you. You've been in combat. I mean, you've done some serious that most people will never do. So if anyone's going to be willing to go charging in the house and make sure their wife's okay, it would seem to me that it would be you.
In my 30-year career, I have never seen anything like this. For a guy his size, stature, and armed with a .45 to wait for a police officer to show up to check on the welfare of his wife.
He's understanding everything we have to say, but he's just not showing any emotion, no anger, no sorrow. It's just not right.
You left Yakima about 08:30 on Saturday and drove down to the Tri-Cities. Yep. And then you stayed at your dad's in Kennewick?
No, I actually stayed with a friend, but let's see.
What's the friend's name?
Oh, her name's Paige. She's a mutual friend.
Was it just a platonic friendship, or did you have
Well,
an actual relationship with Paige?
You know, I shouldn't go there because it's kind of rude, but, well, Des didn't want me to say anything to anybody, but at one point, her and Paige had a little thing going for a while there, a little experiment.
Okay, so it was
So-
it was Desiree and Paige who had the sexual relationship.
Yeah.
But not you and Paige, or sometimes
We all did.
Sometimes you and Paige too.
Honestly, we all did.
We're in the beginning of this investigation. As we learn more and more, we were finding out there was some type of a love triangle. Paige Blades was a 23-year-old mistress to Scott Sunford.
So it
An
sounds like you
awkwardness.
and Desiree had a pretty open relationship.
Generally,
Sexual-wise,
no.
No?
Generally, no, just with her.
Just with her. There was a special relationship with Paige.
Yeah.
We felt that we were not getting the full story. It's a relationship between a mistress and a gentleman, and that his wife is dead. Okay, how much is he involved, or how much she involved, or are they both involved? We suspected that Paige maybe was giving him an alibi, that he maybe was not there that evening, but his phone was not anywhere near the residence at the time of the homicide. Even though he's still our #1 person of interest, it just wasn't connecting him to the crime at the time. A tip came through the local Crime Stoppers telephone network, and the person told us that the name of the shooter was a Marty Grismer, and that he had killed Desiree Sunford. We had not heard that name anywhere in the investigation. We needed to confirm how this person that was calling us knew about this stuff, and it turned out that it was Paige Blade's phone number. If she knew this information, why didn't she call us directly? Things are just not adding up. Paige told us that Marty is a friend of hers, that they work together, and he kind of takes care of her.
Marty was my best friend. Marty and I started dating for a little bit until he found out about Scott, and I told him I couldn't see him anymore. He's the one that got me the house. He bought my car outright, cash. He pays my insurance. He's done my grocery shopping. He's taken very well care of me.
At one point, I believe she told us that he just worshiped the ground she walks on, like he was obsessed with her.
He asked me if I wanted him to take care of this new woman like he did Des. And I asked him what he was talking about. And apparently, he decided that if the baby was Scott's like it was supposed to be, then Desiree would cause issues. Oh my God.
We were skeptical about what type of information she was providing. Is she throwing him under the bus, or is she directing it differently for us to follow? The sheriff's office received a phone call from one of the other managers who was cleaning where Marty had his office, and found a bag of gun parts. So our team immediately drove to Moses Lake, recovered the gun parts, and took them directly to the crime lab to have them examined. It was determined that this barrel was on the gun used to kill Desiree Sunford. The bullets that we recovered from her autopsy came from that barrel. We had evidence in our hands that gave us enough to arrest him on the spot, but we'd really like to have a confession.
What's your relationship with Paige? It's been complicated over the years. I mean, she was the best man at my wedding. So, I mean, she was my best friend for a while there.
Were you two involved in a sexual relationship at one time?
Not exactly, no. We just fooled around a bit early on, but I was taking care of things for her financially. Fixing up her house, fixing up her plumbing, finding a place to live, moving her butt in there. Moving stuff out of storages for her when the bills were running out on them. I've tried to be there for her because I wanted a relationship with her. Like a moth to a flame, I kept going back and trying to help her, even after her own mother told me you probably shouldn't be her friend.
Did you ever offer to kill Desiree Sunford for Paige?
No, I haven't. I've never offered to kill anyone for anything. It's not in my nature.
Have you ever discussed killing her with Paige?
No.
Did she ever ask you to kill Desiree Sunford?
No.
Paige is saying that you are the one who shot and killed Desiree Sunford. She said that you confessed that to her. And she came in and gave a taped statement to that effect.
Can't believe that she's yelling that. I mean, didn't kill anyone. She's pinning the on me.
You work at Basic American Foods, and they said that you were suspended from work for having gun parts at work. Okay, tell me about that. What kind of gun parts are we talking about?
I had a gun barrel that I left there.
A gun barrel?
Yeah.
Okay. Where it gets even worse for you is this gun barrel that we've been talking about. That's the gun barrel that was in the gun that killed Desiree Sunford. I've already retrieved that gun barrel from Basic American Foods, and I've already had the ballistic analysis done on it. And the slugs that were pulled from Desiree's body came from that gun. After everything you've done for her, after all the money, blood, sweat, tears, and love that you gave to her, and she turned around and you over.
I know.
An Alford plea is he's not admitting to the crime. He's not confessing to the crime. He's just saying that the state, which would be the prosecution, has enough evidence to get a conviction.